Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. Well, this is not a vlog. Welcome to a Q&A video. One of the videos that I have planned for you guys this month is a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A in a really long time, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of sit down together, answer your guys' questions, and you guys really came through with the questions this time, because usually I feel like they're pretty generic, but I feel like I actually got some like pretty specific questions. So I'll answer as much as I can as we eat our avocado toast today. I haven't had this in so long. I'm gonna start with YouTube questions, and then I also asked you guys on Instagram too, but I want to prioritize the YouTube ones because you're on YouTube already. Let's just jump and get straight into it. Please do Vlogmas. I think you would do a really great job and I look forward to your videos. Not a question, but I guess it's like a request to do Vlogmas this year. I don't know, you guys. Maybe I'll do it on Instagram, but I just feel like Vlogmas is kind of dead as a concept on YouTube because of short form content. So if you guys would be interested in YouTube Shorts / Instagram Reels for Vlogmas, then I would love to do that. Okay, this one got the most likes from YouTube. Have you ever thought of a day if you want to become a mother, if you will rethink about doing YouTube? Do you think you'll be able to keep the channel? Will you include this new phase of your channel, or do you think of stopping it? I mean, with all the respect, because you're about to get married, that doesn't mean wanting to become a mother. Overall, do you think you'll keep doing this for much longer? And have you ever thought that you'd be so successful in this? I'm relatively new to your channel and I love it, and your energy and how smiley and friendly you are. Thank you so much. I think about this all the time because I am somebody that wants to have kids. Aside from YouTube, or before I started a YouTube channel, being a mom is kind of the only thing that I knew I really wanted in my life. I feel like it gives me purpose. I feel like it stems from me loving my mom so much and like wanting to be kind of similar to how she was for me when I was growing up. And so because I knew I always wanted to be a mom, and then I started my YouTube channel when I was 24 years old, I did think about what it would mean for my YouTube channel. And I think honestly, like, I don't really know for sure. I don't know longevity wise how long I see myself kind of like sustaining as a human being working a full-time 9-to-5 job, being a full-time mom, and also doing YouTube. So I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly. I don't really know per se like what my channel would look like just because I don't really need to know yet, but I definitely will never stop YouTube. It's something that brings me a lot of joy, and I love being able to share my life with people, and I love being able to show you how you can still kind of prioritize yourself and your identity even when you're giving yourself to so many things, whether it's friends and family or health and fitness or your job or, you know, eventually being a mom. Work to Live Diaries would probably have a different name, but I do think a lot of my channel would still be focused on like how I'm prioritizing and sustaining myself as a person and individual, and like pouring into myself while also being a mom and working and all the things. So I will not stop YouTube. I know I kind of rambled there. It's probably going to be really choppy when I'm editing this. I will definitely include that new phase of life in my channel. And I think I'll be doing YouTube as long as I want. Like, I don't really know. I can't really predict in the future, like if I'll still want to do it. Even when I do become a mom, I just don't know. But I think we'll see when we get there. And all I know is that I get so much purpose and fulfillment with having a YouTube channel at all that I can't see myself really wanting to not do it anymore, but you just never know. You are so strong in supporting Thomas through medical school and taking care of your mental health. How do you stay consistent with working out on emotionally low days? For me right now, my main source of exercise is walking. And I like that for mainly two reasons. One, I can do it inside or outside. And two, I can just like kind of turn my brain off and allow myself to not really think about anything because it's a longer workout that I do. When I walk, I usually walk for anywhere between like 60 and 90 minutes, or 45 minutes and 90 minutes. And I think even if I'm having an especially low day, walking is such an easy thing to do that I feel like I can still do it. Even on emotionally low days, I feel like those are the days that I really prioritize making sure that I get my walk in, because it does still count as working out to me. And I feel like it does allow me to have overall like a baseline level, stronger mental health. And I really prioritize like trying to be my best self, but also wondering like if I'm not having a good day, why that is, so that it doesn't kind of continue on, just so that it doesn't last that long. I can only do my best. Like we all know September for me. If you guys watched my channel in September, like 2 months ago, I had a really bad month. And that's just kind of a case where I was doing my best every single time and like things were just not going my way, or it's like bad things were happening. But I feel like for me, exercising is taking care of my mental health and my physical health. So it's kind of like a non-negotiable for me. How do you learn to stay motivated / disciplined to continue learning a new language? I've been wanting to learn a new language and I'd really like some tips. It is really hard. And I think that honestly, as like a human being working a full-time job and having like a very social life too, learning a language is really slow. And it's not something that like I know I'm not pouring 100% of my heart into. I'm just not in the phase of my life where I like have the time to say no to social things, because I feel like when Thomas is in residency and we possibly might like not not live in this apartment anymore, or even possibly this city, just depending on wherever, hopefully, if he does match, wherever he matches. I'm just in the phase of my life where I'm choosing not to focus 100% of my time to learning a language. Oh my God, why can't I talk? I stay motivated and disciplined with it, knowing that even if my growth or my knowledge or my comfort with learning Korean is not where I want it to be, it's still one step closer to getting there than not knowing it at all and forgetting and not studying, not reviewing, not doing anything. So because I know I have good materials for me to review from all the classes that I've taken online, it's really easy for me to jump back into it. And I feel like I did take classes consistently for a year and a half so that I did have like a baseline level of really good knowledge that I just need to focus on self-studying now and practicing. But I'm just not in the phase of my life where like I really want to devote so much of my life to language learning, because I feel like a lot of that is just done alone, and I am a pretty social person right now. But just knowing that I'm like a little bit closer than I was before helps me stay motivated. Exciting holiday plans or travel coming up? No, I don't have any holiday plans. I'm going to just be with family this year and be probably in Maryland. Do you have any advice on navigating a season of change, especially if that change means leaving your current role for something that's more aligned with your ideal area of interest? That's a really interesting question. I really appreciate you sharing what you shared, even in just, not even just with asking the question. This is something that I think about a lot because I think a lot of my life is going to change next year. I would say like the one piece of advice I have for navigating change is be willing to embrace the change that is inevitable. And what part of the change can you control? What part of the change can you not control? And just being able to know what those two things are, you can embrace the parts that you can't control and you can control the ones that you can control. So the things that you can't control per se are like where you'll be, not knowing how the new role is going to go, or anything, but you know that you can control your attitude. You know that you can control what you say. You know that you can control your reactions to change. So being able to, I think, like have as best of a positive and embracing mindset is what will help you navigate that season of change so much better. And I used to think that change was bad. It could be bad. You just don't know. But the fact that you don't know if the change will be good or not, if it does align with your area of interest, then you can hope that the change will be good. So being able to embrace all the challenges, obstacles, but ultimately fulfillment with the change that you're choosing to make will, I think, help you navigate through that season of life a lot better and just with more open arms. I feel like that's pretty good advice, right? Do you draw your motivation from excitement for upcoming events, or do you find motivation in simple everyday things? I think I'm like a simple everyday thing type of person when it comes to my motivation. I'm not really good with like big changes. Like I know I just talked about embracing change, but that took like years of therapy and self-work and reflection and conversation and like really looking at myself in the mirror of why I have a bad attitude sometimes, and it's because I'm not embracing of change. So I'm trying to reframe my mindset to be more open to change. I just get overwhelmed with big things in general, like milestones, birthdays, transitions, accomplishments, all those things I feel like are so big that it doesn't necessarily motivate me to be excited. If anything, it kind of scares me. And so I would say I'm like a simple everyday thing kind of person. Would you consider yourself a spiritual person? If so, how has your relationship with God evolved as you have gotten older? Do you have any spiritual goals? Only if you feel comfortable answering. I appreciate this question. I used to be more open about my faith and like my relationship with Christianity and God earlier on in my channel. It's just something that I kind of learned over time that I wanted to keep more private to me. And I know that there's probably somewhere along the lines that like I should be spreading more of God and everything. But for me right now, at least, I feel like my relationship with God and Christianity is just kind of like a one-to-one thing. It's like more a relationship, not necessarily something that I really feel like sharing. I grew up actually going to church every Sunday, sometimes even Fridays and Sundays. And I was very close to church, but more for the social aspect, truthfully, and not necessarily for the Christian aspect and feeling close to God. I would say that I had a moment in my life when I was younger in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school where I did feel like I had an experience of being saved by God. It's so weird for me to be talking about this in public. That's just like, that's all I'll say. That's my experience and my history. And right now I'm just kind of like in a more private place with my faith, and I like it that way. So, but I don't have any goals when it comes to my faith. That's just not something that I do. I tend to lose sight on my yearly goals in Notion. How do you incorporate them into your monthly spreads to stay focused? That's why I really like having a paper planner, not just Notion. I don't use Notion on a daily basis. Like I'm just never going to be that person, and I know that. But honestly, Notion is really great because you can document things a lot better all in one place, and like year after year too. And I know what you mean, because sometimes I feel like we make monthly goals and we don't even like remember anymore because we just don't look at it ever again. So over the last 2 months, actually, I've been copying all of my monthly goals from Notion into my paper planner so that I see it more, because I open my paper planner more on a daily basis. And that's been working out great. Love that. Okay, those are all of the YouTube questions. Love those YouTube questions. I really appreciate all of you for submitting anything at all. Okay, let's go to Instagram questions. There's a lot, so I won't answer all of them just for the sake of time. But okay, there's actually like a lot of questions. A lot of questions about cold weather tips and like how to deal with the cold weather seasonal depression. I do a video that just went live actually today on the day that I'm filming this. It's Friday. And I did talk about a couple of cold weather tips. So make sure you guys check out that video for that answer. How do you make time to fill all your baskets? I think that's like personal hobbies, areas of interest, responsibilities. It's a lot, especially every single year that I get older after college. It feels like I have more and more and more responsibilities and like baskets to fill in my life. And I think a lot of it is just having self-awareness of like when you can pour into certain things and when you cannot, because I feel like it can never be like fully filled. Every single basket of your life or like thing in your life, it can never be 100% at every single thing, or else I would just be like overflowing as a person. I would say just knowing that like there's times in my life where I do have to compartmentalize certain things. Like when I was marathon training, I put so much of my time into marathon training and I didn't do much of journaling back then at all because I didn't have any time to. And so I feel like just knowing what I do want to focus on in my life, maybe in the span of like a whole year, that's why I like doing monthly plan with me's and check-ins, because I like to see where I'm at with like what I want to do this year on a month by month basis. I like being able to check in with myself. And I feel like planning when I'm checking in is what helps me kind of accomplish things as well balanced as possible. So making time for it though, that's just planning. Making actual time with the plan that you have is really hard, but I think, and I wish I had better advice for this, I just feel like I have like an internal sense of knowing when I do need to pour into something else, or if I'm like doing too much of one thing all the time. And I try not to waste any time. Like I got a question the other day on a video that was like, do you ever just couch rot? And I actually think there's really nothing wrong at all with couch rotting. I'm just like the type of personality that I can't sit still ever. Like I get bored really quickly when I'm doing things. And I'm always kind of thinking about like what's something that I can do right now. So I do feel like it's kind of in my personality to kind of like fill all my baskets and fill as many baskets as possible, because it's hard for me to rest. So that's why I try to take intentional days to just rest. And I have cozy hobbies that do feel like rest that are still really nice, like journaling. So I feel like that's helped me a lot. How do you manage your time so well that you do so much during the day and week? And I feel like this relates to other questions about like time management. How do you manage your time so well that you do so much during the day and week? How do you get up so early? How do you get so much done before work? Again, it's like all really in my personality. But the last couple of months, if you've been watching my channel, I have been getting a lot of stuff done before work. And that's because my alarm time was 4:45 a.m. It was 4:40 actually, because I was taking Thomas to the hospital by like anywhere between 5 and 5:20 a.m. So that gave me a lot of time for me to do things before work. And I feel like that's what allows me to be as productive as possible. Like I know I'm just the most productive in the mornings because I like wake up having all the energy and everything. Yes, I think that my morning routine and being able to like get so much done all the time is a mixture of having a really early wake up time. I try not to like waste too much time just doing nothing just because I can't sit still, and like it being in my personality. Everything I want to do feels like things that I have to do. Like I'm also a very kind of strict person in my personality too. And I just have standards that I feel like I would rather spread myself thin to get it all done than not do it at all and face the disappointment that I give myself. That's just kind of the way that my brain runs. And I feel like that's why I can do so much all the time. And I don't think that's all a good thing. Like it's good to be productive, but I'm like a hyper productive person. And like, I wish that I could read more. Like I have this book, it's the middle of November and I've barely started this book because I can't get myself to sit down and read. It's so hard for me. So I don't mean to say that I'm like getting stuff done all the time or whatever to be better than everyone else. I just like can't sit still. And I wish that I had more time to relax. That's why I like spa days and doing my nails, like things that like force me to really slow down, because it's so hard for me to do that. And it genuinely feels like a challenge. I hope that helped. What shows are you currently watching? I never talk about the media that I'm consuming anymore because I don't really watch a lot of stuff. Like I don't watch shows. Piggybacking off my last answer, I also don't watch a lot of stuff. This week, Thomas and I watched season 1 of Big Little Lies. We just turned it on randomly. And I knew that my sister really liked that show. Wow. Season 1 was amazing. It was amazing. It was like the White Lotus before White Lotus. And the cast is stacked up. It's a really good cast. So we just finished Big Little Lies. It was very good. We recently watched Die My Love. Thomas like took me to a date night and we watched that together. I knew that it wasn't going to be like a rom-com. It was actually like a slightly traumatic movie and very serious. And it was okay. Like I understand all the imagery and stuff, but we just thought it was like an okay movie. Before that, I watched Eternity, the movie that's coming out at the end of November. And I talked about that in a vlog. It was so good. good. I think that's my favorite movie so far this year, but I actually think that if I try to think about all the movies that I did watch this year, it's really not many. Like it's less than, maybe even less than 5. I really got to change that. But those are the things I've been watching recently. And then in terms of other shows, I've watched Dancing with the Stars and that's it. Oh, This Summer I Turned Pretty and Big Little Lies. That's it this year, which is really bad. Do you listen to any podcasts and do you have recommendations? I don't listen to a lot. The only podcasts, truthfully, that I listen to consistently are Busy Blooming with Tess Barclay because I love her, and Soju with Sarah because I also love her too. But other than that, I don't really listen to podcasts. It's not really like an interest of mine. Not really much to share about the wedding. November and October have been pretty quiet. I booked my draping vendor, but my next kind of like task, and I've like bookmarked things here and there. Like right now, I'm just kind of getting all of my organization complete for plans that I want to have and like DIYs that I want to do, but I haven't actually started anything yet. I think I'll start in the holidays, and then also for my invitations, I'm going to try to DIY those too. So I think that will be in the holidays as well. But overall, wedding planning is going good. Being a wedding planner was actually one of my dream jobs growing up. It's just something that I felt like in college I was really good at doing it for my sister. I love everything about the wedding industry, other than the fact that it's just like egregiously expensive, like truly out of this world egregiously expensive. I love everything about weddings. I'm like a romantic at heart. So, and I love like a good event planner. Like that really is like, I think my dream kind of job. So I've been really enjoying it. I don't really find it that stressful. And when I watch content about people that like have approached wedding planning in a more stressful way, I just don't think it's that bad. But granted, I'm not really in like the midst of it yet. I've just booked all the vendors and stuff, but I haven't done the DIYs or anything other than the save the dates. So we'll see how I feel 6 months from now, if it feels like crazy. For now, it's going really well and I'm just happy. I will say there's a part of wedding planning that feels really lonely. Like I feel like I'm making all these moves, decisions, emails, like ideas with just me and my fiance, even sometimes just me alone. And that feels really lonely. And like my family members have offered to help and stuff, but I'm also just like a huge control freak that it's just easier if I do it myself, especially when it comes to something like my wedding. So that's how it's going. There are definitely some times where I like get, I think, overwhelmed just in like the fact that it feels kind of lonely, but the planning itself is going very smoothly. I'm gonna make a whole separate video about my journal and like how I journal, what I make time to journal, how I approach it, how I make time for it. So lots of journaling questions on here too, but I'm gonna make a separate video on that. So just stay tuned. What's something that you're falling out of love with and falling in love with? Okay, journaling is obviously a cop-out, but something I'm falling in love with, honestly, I have no clue. Oh, I'm kind of falling in love with homemade bread. I feel like I'm falling in love with cooking. I really do. Cooking was actually a goal of mine this year, to cook more at home and actually enjoy it. And I do feel like I kind of look forward to cooking now, and I look forward to it more and more that I make stuff. So, ooh, I am falling in love with a dirty gin martini. My friend Hanya showed this to me like a year ago. And a year ago, I was like, that's okay. But for some reason, like 3 months ago, I was like, oh, this is amazing. It's actually amazing. So lately, I love a good dirty gin martini. It's amazing, truly. And it's like a one and done kind of cocktail. Like I can just have one, feel the cocktail, and then that's it. Falling out of love, this is gonna be so niche for anybody that like even knows me or anything, but I'm falling out of love with like dance music and house music. I had this whole phase, I feel like for the last like 3 years, where I really enjoyed going to DJs, going to shows, enjoying house music. But now Thomas will show me something like, oh, do you want to go to this? And I'm like, I don't want to. So I'm definitely falling out of love with like that whole phase of my life, just like going to DJs and shows and stuff. Cause I feel like, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, because I didn't share too much, but I did really like going to shows and stuff. So I don't know. I just don't really care for it anymore. Can you share the list of books you read this year? Yes, I can. If you watched my last like 1 or 2 videos, this is my Pocket Paper Republic journal. Leather cover at least. There's 4 journals in here, and my last journal is called a list book. One of the lists that I have, this is for like meaningful lists in my life. And one of the lists that I have is books that I read in 2025. So yes, I can show you exactly what I read in 2025. Here they are. My favorite book this year to date, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was so good. Honestly, I've just read like pretty mid books this year. They really haven't been all that great. Aside from Atmosphere, I think I really loved, well, Fourth Wing was very good. Loved that too. A Novel Love Story was cute, but I like expected more. And that's kind of it. I really did not like Say You'll Remember Me. It was like fine. The Vegetarian was the first book that I read, and it was more of like a horror genre, which I've never done before. It was really interesting. And I wouldn't say like I enjoyed it. I don't enjoy horror, but it was a very interesting read. Those are all the books that I read in 2025. Do you guys like me? I love showing my journals. Okay, fine. It's so pretty. Okay, wait. I told you I was gonna give you all the journaling things later, but look at this spread. It's so beautiful. I love it. Don't read it. Do you intentionally not share some negative life stuff online? Yes, absolutely. Like, I mean, I think we all know that I don't share everything about my life online. There's things that I choose not to share because I'm still a person that values privacy. And I feel like I would have absolutely no privacy if I shared everything. I do like to share negative things that have happened in my life kind of more after the fact now, just so that I can make sure that like I feel comfortable putting it on the internet, because anyone can watch my videos, like even weirdos and even like friends or things that involved other people. Like I try to be really mindful of everything that I share online and just keep it specific to my own personal experiences, because I think that's the respectful thing to do. And I don't want to spread negativity ever. Yes, I intentionally do not share negative things online, but I'll share them as lessons after the fact. Okay, lots of journaling questions. Let's see, lots of cold weather questions. How to not feel like your life is too boring to document. I think I talked about this maybe in like one video recently, but there is beauty in the mundane. And I think that hopefully for you guys, I'm a comfort creator. That's like the type of creator I try to be. I try to be very inspirational and motivational just because I think that's like who I am as a person. But at the same time, my life is so routine and my content is repetitive. Like I'm living the same life every single week, and I'm trying to find beauty in that everyday life that I think is very normal that all of us have. And I think that's hopefully why you guys like watching my channel, is because that's a really relatable thing to feel like your life is just the same all the time when you're working a normal job and you're an adult and you're just like going out to dinners and stuff. It's like everything kind of feels the same. So it is boring. I think my channel is boring objectively, but I try to make it fun by showing you who I am and share my personality and hopefully like reach an arm out to you and like give you a hug as a comfort creator. And ew, that was like so cheesy, but it's truly who I try to be. And I know that my content is like objectively boring, but I try to spice it up with my editing because I love the editing like process of YouTube videos. It's truly why I continue to make videos to this day, why I lose sleep editing videos, and why I try to stay consistent, because I love the editing process. Yes, your life is boring. You know, we probably have boring lives. And if you want to make content, but you feel like you don't want to because your life is boring, well, everyone else's life is boring. And unless we're like celebrities or millionaires, our life is probably kind of boring, but that's okay. And I think that life can still be so fulfilling and happy, even if it's boring. So that's what I try to like really emulate in my videos, that everything's all the same all the time, but just like get excited about the things that do happen in your daily life, because that's how you hopefully like live an actual happier life long term. So that's like my little pep talk on that. If you had to start all over again, what would you do differently? It's a really open-ended question. I would say if I would do life all over again, I don't know if this person's talking about life or YouTube. I'll answer both. I would do nothing differently with my life, because I think my life is what it is today because of everything that's ever happened to me. And I think that that's like a beautiful thing, that every life is so different. Your life would drastically change if I made even like one different decision in my life, but I'm never going to know what that's going to be like because I'm just living my life, you know? I wouldn't do anything differently in my life. I think that like I make mistakes, I make choices, and I live through all of those things. And that's like what makes me me, and that's what makes you you. So I think life is like such a beautiful thing in that way. And secondly, if I were to do YouTube again, what would I do differently? I don't know, other than not share as much in the moment of what I'm going through. I would definitely just kind of like be more private and then share things kind of afterwards. I just think that's like a part of growing up too, knowing what to keep private to you and knowing what you want to share to others, like even friends and family. So I think so much of my life has been documented on YouTube as like a creator, but I'm just going through life too every single year. Like I started my channel in 2020 when I was 24 years old, and that's so insane because I'm 29 now. I love documenting my life and sharing everything. I'm not the biggest creator out there. Like I don't even have I remember thinking that I would never even make 10,000 subscribers though, and I made that in my first year. So I like to stay grounded in the growth that I've had as a creator, because I think everyone really has a goal of like making a certain amount of money or having a certain number of subscribers, but there's no goals on like how you feel about your content or your business or your anything, your social media. And I just want to feel like happy, and I want to feel not happy, but I just want to feel authentic when it comes to my channel. And that in that way, I would do nothing differently, because I always show up to this channel being my true authentic self, and I try to make sure that you feel like I'm talking to you as a friend. And I also like being able to put my best foot forward, because I think that that's kind of like a sense of manifestation in my life. Like if I can fake it till I make it and be my best self, eventually I will be my best self, you know? Of course, I wish I had more subscribers and stuff, but it's okay. My goal this year was to just feel content with my life. And I feel like that's truly what I feel. And I think a lot of that comes with the privilege that YouTube is not my full-time job. So I don't have to see it as a means of like must be making earnings and stuff. Oh, I would definitely prioritize sleeping more. Wait, I would actually do this totally differently. For the first 2 years of my channel, I would go to bed at like 8 o'clock and wake up at 3 in the morning to edit my YouTube videos because I was posting 3 times a week. 3 long form videos a week, and also being like a person in my mid-20s. That's so crazy. I really wish I did not do that because it was not worth like that hustle. Okay, I feel good about that answer. Okay, that's gonna be it for this Q&A video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you guys have any other questions or if I didn't answer, or if you asked a question and I interpreted it wrong and answered it like totally differently, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll clarify anything I can. I love Q&As because I feel like you guys can just like hear me talk more and you get to know a little bit more about like speaking. It's such a weird thing speaking about myself. Like I don't like to do these as often anymore because I don't like talking about myself like that. Like I don't know. It feels like almost a little condescending and it's just like wildly uncomfortable. But I do like being able to do Q&As so that you do know more about me and you can like see me more in like a in real time, less edits version of myself, because this is like as kind of stripped down as I'll be. So yeah, I hope you guys like this and I'll see you guys in a new video very soon. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I post new videos twice a week in 2025. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video, but until then, miss you already.